We are here with Al Hakam, and we are continuing a discussion that we've been having. He has some information he wants to share with us. So this will be my second time on camera with Al Hakam. We want to talk a little bit about Jizya and also some other topics like the Sharia, because Muslims say, Jizya is just a tax. It's just because you don't have to go to war. We defend you in war, so you have to pay us the money. So we want to get his information about, he has done some research, so we want to get some details about that. What is Jizya, how it's been practiced, and things like that.
Today we're going to talk about Jizya. It's a very important subject actually. And I want you to remember two words before we start. There is Jizya and there is Kharaj. Remember the name Kharaj. It's a very important name, Kharaj. But we're going to start with Jizya and we'll talk about it. Like you hear everywhere, Muslims say that Jizya is just tax. It's just a tax because Muslim pay Zakat. So the people of the book, we call them Dhimmi, pay Jizya. And it is as well exception from military service. That's what the Muslims say. So we have to know that Jizya, the word Jizya is mentioned only once in Quran, only once, without any explanation. Allah didn't explain anything, He just mentioned the word. So we have to go to the biography of Muhammad, we have to go to Hadith, and we have to go, very important, to history of Islam to understand how the Jizya was practiced, especially with early Muslim, and how much people used to pay in different places. It wasn't same like in Yemen or in Iraq or in Egypt. It wasn't the same amount, or Libya. So we're going to talk about this.
What time period are we talking about?
Early time, after the death of Muhammad.
Okay, so the first century of Islam.
The second Khalifa, Abu Umar ibn Khattab. Because Abu Bakr was Muslim start conquering Egypt and Iraq in the time of Umar ibn Khattab, the second Khalifa. And he lasted for 10 years, so it's very important, that guy. And he was companion of Muhammad, and he's famous. We can
Yeah. So this is at that time?
That time, yeah. Okay. It's very because...
So he was conquering the Christian land. And he was putting Jizya for those people.
Jizya on these people. And Kharaj. So we're going to talk about Kharaj later. So we're going to mention the only verse of Quran. It's called Surah At-Tawbah. It's chapter 9, verse 29. We're going to read it in English. So Allah in this verse say, fight those who do not believe in Allah and in the last day, and who do not forbid what Allah and His Prophet have forbidden.
Yeah, because that's
so Allah and His Prophet, not just Allah.
So that means there are things that Muhammad has forbidden that Allah didn't.
That's for the Quranic people who just believe in Quran.
That's why they believe in the Hadith, because Hadith are the sayings of the Prophet.
Yeah, so we have to take Hadith.
Like, I just want to mention one thing, because Muta is mentioned in the Quran, but Hadith forbids it. The Quran doesn't forbid Muta. But they follow Muhammad, not Quran, which is from Allah.
Exactly.
So he's the Allah, and
that's what the Shia keep practicing, but it wasn't forbidden in Quran.
Yeah, so they're doing the right thing. Yeah.
We're going to talk about one day about that subject. It's a very important subject. I like to talk about that. It's very important. Allah and His Prophet forbidden, and who do not follow the religion of truth. They call it the religion of truth among those who were given the scripture, people of the book, and until they pay. Look at the translation in English, Muslim, how they translate. Until they pay the due tax with a willing hand, being compliant. The Quran doesn't say that. The last word of Quran, وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ. We're going to mention what does it mean, وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ. Being compliant doesn't mean, وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ, it doesn't mean being compliant. We're going to come to that. That's one of the Muslim, how they play with the translation. We talk about this chapter, this is very important. This chapter, Muhammad received in the year 9. That's Muslim calendar. In year 9, after Muhammad returned from Ghazwat Tabuk, the last battle, Muhammad wanted to fight the Roman, but he didn't find them. He took with him about 30,000 soldiers, but he returned. Was in south of Jordan, Tabuk. He didn't fight. It's very important Ghazwa. It's very important. We have to
So he
mention.
went for the war. Did he know where their army was, that he was going to attack them?
He just want to fight. I don't know why.
So he just went looking for their army
Yeah.
and couldn't find
No,
them?
they say the Roman, there were about 200,000.
Yeah.
And Muslim there were 30,000.
Oh.
But the Roman didn't want to fight Muhammad. I don't know why. And Muhammad returned with his army back. And in this Ghazwa, they tried to kill Muhammad. Some 12 of his companions, and some of them, they say 15, they tried to kill him in the way back. So it's very important as well. We cannot make.
So I didn't know that there was an attempt on Muhammad's life by his Sahaba.
They call them Muslim. They say they're hypocrite. They're not the greatest. But Shia, they say these 12 are the best companion of Muhammad. It's Abu Bakr, Umar, Zubayr. This is the Allah promised them paradise. The 10, or Allah promised them paradise. But we'll talk about it another time. We'll come to it. Where we stop? Yeah, this chapter Muhammad received in year 9 in Islamic calendar, and that was just before Muhammad died, a year and a half before Muhammad died, and was the last chapter of Quran. This chapter is called the chapter of the sword, and doesn't start with Basmala. What does it mean? Doesn't start with in the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. And all the scholars, no exception here, all the scholars say the chapter 9, the Tawbah, didn't start with Basmala because there is no mercy in this chapter. Simple as that. It's chapter so. What does it mean Jizya? In Arabic, in the tongue of Arab, we are talking about the real tongue of Arab. There's a book, very famous book. It's called the Tongue of Arabs. The author of the book, his name Ibn Mandur, and he found Ibn Mansur. And any Muslim who want to learn the language of Quraysh or Arab before the time before Islam, he must go to this book to understand every word. What does it mean? Because some words mean a lot of different meaning. It's the same like any language anyway. In this book, we say, Ibn Mandur say, Jizya is taken from the people of Dhimma. People of Dhimma is the people of the book, and the plural is Jizya. Jizya is reward. That's the mean Jizya. It's like beards. That's the explanation. In the Hadith, Jizya was mentioned in more than one place, and it's the money on which the people of the book conclude a pact, and it is an act of recompense, as if it were a reward from its attitude was a reward for Muslim for not killing the people of the book. What does it mean? I'll explain it. Jizya is a reward from Muslim. That is a reward from Muslim to the people of the book for not killing them. So if you pay me Jizya, my reward for you is not killing you. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's called protection money.
That's it.
That's what the gangsters do. They say
exactly.
Like in India, a lot of places, where gangsters would come to the shopkeeper and say, we'll keep you from getting robbed. Just take care of us, and they pay weekly to them.
That's exactly Italian mafia.
That's right. That's what they do.
And they took it from Muslim actually. The history say even the name
so
mafia.
Okay.
Mafia name mafia is came from Arabic word. Ma'fi.
Ma'fi means to forgive.
Yeah, if you pay me jizya, you're ma'fi from.
Oh, so that's where the word mafia comes from.
That's exactly the word mafia.
Wow,
comes from.
you know what? That's very interesting. That makes my day. I learned something today. Mafia comes from the Arabic word mafi.
So if you pay me jizya, you're mafi.
So you're mafi
being killed.
Mafia, Italian mafia? Yeah, the word comes from Arabic mafi.
Mafi is nothing. That's what it is.
No, forgive. Mafi means what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We return. Jizya for the scholar. We talk about the scholar. What the scholar said about jizya. So we mentioned the meaning in Arabic. What does it mean? Let's say what the scholar say. I'm gonna take just Baghawi. It's very famous.
Why the scholar not the Quran, my friend?
Because he make a resume. Al-Baghawi make a resume. Because if you take Tabari, it's pages and pages.
They don't represent Islam. These two people.
So Al-Baghawi in explanation, when he explained chapter 9, Tawbah, verse 29, he say, it's a tax imposed on the neck.
On the neck.
Out of oppression and humiliation. You remember the word وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ, the end of the last word in this verse, وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ. That means oppression and humiliation. Ibn Abbas, you know, is Sahabi, is a companion of Muhammad. They call him the Hebrew Ummah, who explain all the Quran. He said they give it with their own hand and do not send it with the hands of anyone else. They must give it with their own hand.
So they can humiliate them. But they used to spit on them.
Humiliated and oppressed. They pay jizya while standing, while the recipient is sitting. Just a way of humiliation. Ibn Abbas said as well, it will be taken from him and his neck will be trampled. You know, step on his neck. A way of humiliation. Al-Kalbi, you like this guy, he's famous historian, said, if he gives jizya, he will be slapped on the back of his head.
Slapped on the back of his head.
You have to slap him on his back of his head when he gives jizya.
Oh,
just to humiliate him, just to make him understand that he's lower than Muslim. Always remind him.
Wow. That is like practice in the Muslim world. You know, they always slap you on the back of the head and stuff.
Something.
Over there.
Police,
they do that. They do that over
Police,
there.
they do that. Al-Baghawi say, it was said, Al-Baghawi mentioned the other Muslims said, it will be taken by his beard and beaten on his throat. So you take him by his beard and you beat him in his throat. So kind of humiliation. There's all kind of humiliation anyway. And it's the same thing for Ibn Kathir, Tabari, Qurtubi, Sa'di, Jalalain. So whoever you take, it's the same thing. We're going to mention Ibn al-Qayyim. Ibn al-Qayyim is a famous scholar as well. He's a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. He was Hanbali and he was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. He's got many books. They study his books in Azhar. And he's got books of biography of Muhammad. It's called Sirat A'lam Nubala, is by Muhammad specially. And he's got a book specially for people of Dhimma. That book is called Ruling of the People of Dhimma. Complete book special for people of the book. When he said Ibn Qayyim, Jizya is the tax imposed on the head of the infidel. Infidel is the people of the book, of course, to humiliate and belittle them, make them small. Imam Malik said it's obligatory in lieu of killing. So instead of killing you pay me jizya. Shafi'i is obligatory in lieu of bloodshed and dwelling in the house. It's only Shafi'i said it's for the in lieu of bloodshed and the dwelling in your house. So if your house is like it's your own house, it's like you're paying tax in your own house. Imagine that. But just Shafi'i mentioned this. That's an exception. And in Shafi'i, like if Egypt, you go to Egypt, 80% Muslim are Shafi'i. So North Africa, there's so many Muslim Shafi'i. Tabari. We take just one example of Tabari. Tabari said that they are humiliating and oppressed. The humiliated and despicable person is said to be insignificant. So that's Tabari. Ibn al-Qayyim, we said, Ibn al-Qayyim in his book, The Ruling of the People of the Dhimma, because Ibn al-Qayyim is Hanbali, he follows Imam Ahmad, So he got a lot of knowledge of Imam Ahmad. Mention one of the things Imam Ahmad said. Imam Ahmad said in the book of Ibn Qayyim, they were drugged in their hands and sealed in their neck if they didn't pay the jizya with humiliation. People of the book.
What does that mean?
If a Christian or Jew, he paid jizya, but he doesn't show humiliation.
Yeah.
You drag him and you mark him on his neck. You know why you mark this?
Like tattoo or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Wow.
That's Imam Ahmad said. No me, no any Christian or. And Ibn Qayyim mentioned it in his book. You can go to his book and find. Prove that the word jizya is a bad word. Why is jizya is a bad word? The proof is I'm going to mention a very important book. That book is called Sunan al-Kubra lil-Bayhaqi. That book, if any Muslim want to study Islam, Sharia, and be good, and he want to be judge or to teach Sharia, he must study that book.
Is that book online? Can
you find it online in Arabic.
In Arabic, so you can Google translate that book.
Yeah, it's called Sunan al-Kubra lil-Bayhaqi. In the page 216, volume 9, chapter, the Arab Christian are subject to double jizya. So, page 216, volume 9, the Arab chapter, the Arab Christian are subject to double jizya. So, jizya double. He mentioned the story of Arab, the Christian of Bani Taghlab. Bani Taghlab is an Arab Christian, lived in Arab Peninsula, in East Arab Peninsula. And there were some of them in Iraq as well. It's a big tribe. So the Christian of Bani Taghlab rejected the name, they rejected just the name, Jizya, with Umar ibn Khattab when he was Khalifa. He asked them to pay the Jizya. They said, we are Arab, because they speak Arabic. We are Arab and do not pay what the no-Arab pay, but take from us as the same what you take from Muslim. So Zakat, because it's a bad word, so they didn't want to call it Jizya. They want to Umar ibn Khattab, they say, okay, we pay you that money, but don't call it Jizya, call it Zakat. Umar ibn Khattab, of course, he said, no, Zakat is for Muslim, you're no Muslim. So this Arab said, increase wherever you want, in the name of Zakat, not in the name of Jizya. So just increase it and we pay it, but don't call it Jizya. So Umar ibn Khattab did, and he accepted.
Really?
They show how it's just about money, that's all. And I mean, you can conclude a lot of things from this story.
So these are reliable sources, yeah?
That guy, any Muslim university they study Sharia, they must study that book. And there are 4 books mentioned, very important. One of them is this book, and there's another book we're going to mention later. So Ibn Qayyim as well, I'm going to mention Ibn Qayyim in his book. People of Dimma said it was Umar ibn Khattab made it double. That so Ibn Qayyim mentioned the same story in his book, Ruling of People of Dimma. Mentioned the same story, and he said Umar ibn Khattab made that Jizya double, and he called it Zakat instead of calling it Jizya. And we said Saghirun Muslim. We go to the. We said Muslim one day translate the Quran and say being compliant. That's wrong. Wahum Saghirun is a bad word. And if you go to Quran, there is 4 verses of Quran prove that word is bad word. If you go to Surah At-Naml, is it chapter 27, verse 37. Surah Yusuf, chapter 12, verse 32. Surah Al-Araf, chapter 7, verse 13. And same surah, verse 119, you understand وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ is a bad word. I don't want to go through these verses of Quran. Just read in them. The meaning is humiliation. That's what it means. I'm going to mention another Sahih Bukhari, so we have to mention some hadith, just no Quran. In the Hadith Bukhari 2914, Sahih Bukhari. By the way, if you go any Muslim and you search this hadith, and they say it exists in Sahih Bukhari, but they say it's da'if, weak. Doesn't make sense. Sahih Bukhari is Sahih. And I searched it and I went to Sahih Bukhari itself and I found that Bukhari didn't say anything like that. So they show you how Muslims play in the website. So be careful when you read from website. That's hadith. Muhammad said in this hadith, my livelihood has been placed under the shade of my spear, and humiliation and inferiority are made upon those who disobey my own command. The word وَهُمْ صَغِيرُونَ come again here. Ibn Baz. Ibn Baz is a Saudi scholar. He died, I think, 2000. He's a famous Saudi scholar, and he's got his own website on the internet. If you go to it, you find everything, of course in Arabic. Ibn Baz said about this Jizya. Humiliated, despicable, miserable. For this reason, it is not permissible to honor the people of Dhimma, nor raise them above the Muslim. Rather, they are humiliated, small, and miserable, as stated in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet said, Sahih Muslim, do not initiate the greeting of the Jew and Christian, and if you meet them on the road, force him. If you meet Christian or Jew, force him to the narrow side of the road. It's a famous hadith. And that's why Ibn Baz keeps saying, that's why the Caliph Umar ibn Khattab, in his pact of the pact of Umar to the Christian of Syria and Palestine, Ilya at the time, it's called Ilya, speculated those well-known conditions to humiliate, minimize, and degrade them. The Pact of Umar. If you go to Ibn Kathir, gives all
I think if you Google Pact of Umar, you'll be able to read what it is.
Can we move?
Okay, let's move. Yeah.
All right. So we mentioned with the Pact of Umar, and if you go to Ibn Kathir, you found details. It's such humiliation. Umar put in his pact with the Christian in their land. Imagine their own land, and he put this condition. And we're not gonna mention I mean, if you problem most Christian, they know about it, and Muslims try to hide it. They show you only the second part of this part. They don't show you the main part. The amount of jizya, how much jizya you have to pay. We go back to Baghawi as well when he explained. As for the amount of the jizya, the minimum is 1 dinar. 1 dinar is a gold piece. It's 4.5 grams of gold.
So that's quite expensive.
Of course, it's gold. So at the time of
Yeah.
and it's not permissible to reduce it.
No.
And
this is by whom? Umar?
the time of Umar started with Umar,
Umar.
and after that they increase it. We're gonna talk about that. And the dinar is accepted from both the poor and the rich. Even the poor must pay, unless that poor doesn't have anything. So you can ask him. So that's obvious. Listen what the Shafi'i said. If they were asked more, they have to pay it. So Jizya, there is no limit on it. It's up to the governor, a Muslim, the leader.
Ruler.
Because there's no explanation in the Quran, so Allah wasn't interested to explain it. He was just talking about Muhammad divorcing these, marrying that. So he wasn't interested in other things. Whatever. 2/3 of Quran about Muhammad's story. It's with his wife.
It's his sex life. That's all Allah cared about.
True.
Okay.
Some of the scholar, Al-Baghawi keeps saying that, some of the scholar of the opinion that some of the scholar, Al-Baghawi mentioned them, say for the rich person must pay 4 dinar, the average person must 2 dinar, and the poor 1 dinar. That's some of the scholar, Baghawi mentioned them. I don't know their name, but probably Tabari, who knows. And jizya is for every adult male in the family. What does it mean? The father, he has got 2 or 3 sons, and the rich age of puberty, he pay for each head, not for a woman, of course, not for a woman, and not the very old man. A Sheikh al-Thani, they call it, the man who can't work, he can't pay. But every adult, he must pay. So a house can get up to 10 dinar dahabi, 10 piece gold a year. Let's do comparison between zakat and jizya. Let's see the comparison between jizya. What about zakat? Comparison between zakat and jizya. A Muslim does not pay zakat except in the money that has been acquired for a year. What does it mean? The minimum is 85 grams of gold. If you've got 85 grams, let's say you've got 85 grams of gold in the bank or in your house, cash. A whole year must turn on this money to pay. What does it mean? If for example, before the end of the year, 12 months, you had to use some of it, and you have to use 10% of it for some reason, for medicine or some, you don't pay jizya.
Jizya.
You don't zakat.
Zakat.
You don't pay. So Muslim, it's flexible somehow.
Okay. So that's very fair and very easy for them to handle. It's not like a big burden.
In agriculture, if Muslim had the land to practice agriculture, he must produce more than 653 kilogram of product to start paying jizya. If he produces less than that, he doesn't pay jizya. If someone has got sheep or cows or camels, for sheep you have to go to start from paying jizya is from 40 and above.
Okay, so if you have 39 sheep,
you don't pay jizya. Okay. If you go 40,
jizya or
zakat. Sorry,
zakat.
I keep making
don't confuse everybody.
Sorry, we're talking about zakat. So for Muslim, so let's say you've got 40 sheep, and before the end of the year, before 12, one of them died. You don't pay zakat. It's become 39. And between that's just for information. So from 40, if when you reach 40 sheep, you pay just 1 sheep. That's your zakat, 1 sheep a year. From 40 to 120, you keep paying you give just 1 sheep. Above 120, you give 2 sheep. And when you reach 200, above 200, you give 3 sheep. So it's not very expensive. And for cash, I forgot this. For cash, it's 2.5%. If you've got we said the amount is 85 grams of gold. The value, it depends on countries. The value of zakat you have to pay is just 2.5. Zakat is very vast. You have books and books about zakat. We can't go through that. And
so the comparison between zakat and jizya.
And let's say, I had to talk about zakat to know the idea of zakat.
So we can compare it to.
Let's compare zakat to jizya.
Because they say it's very fair. Because we pay zakat, you pay jizya.
That's exactly. That's why I want to mention zakat. You have the whole year must turn in your money or your product. Jizya, no condition.
No condition. You have to.
You have to pay.
Even if you were sick, you couldn't do any agriculture, and you couldn't make any product.
As long as you've got some money, you have to pay it. So you have to pay it. It's not like Muslim. He's got like this amount of money.
Like if it's a Muslim, he has a land and he was sick, he couldn't cultivate the land.
He don't pay zakat.
Yeah, but if I'm Christian and I have land I cannot cultivate because I have a problem or something.
Yeah, you pay jizya. You pay jizya. The only condition you don't pay jizya when you are really you don't have any money at all.
Of course.
No sin. I mean,
you're just
to eat. That's the only only the man, zakat is only the man in the house pay zakat. So the children reach puberty, they don't pay, of course. Jizya, no. Only every male, even if you've got sons, reach puberty, and they could reach about 12 years. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, if they
They
have
pay
pubic
for
hair.
every head.
If they have pubic hair.
Yeah, that's one of the conditions as well. We know the story of coming from. So some, if they got so many few sons in the house, you pay for every one of them, unless they've got their own house. So for children, it's not easy to get even now it's difficult. So this is the difference between zakat and jizya. So you found out it's not fair at all. Muslim is got this flexibility of paying zakat. And the other things, if Muslim doesn't pay zakat, paying zakat, it's not there's no punishment for that. They only take it from him by force. Now they don't do it, of course. There is no khilafah, there is no such thing. They only take it from him. But Christian or Jew, he risks his life. If they don't pay zakat, jizya, you get killed straight away. It's a pact, you sign that, you agree to that, you have to pay it. You don't pay it, you got money, you don't pay it, it's death straight away. And you give it with the humiliation. Muslim he give it with honor.